painting your line designs. Ready to add color to your line design? First, let's review how to use your paintbrush.
Hello, amazing artists. Can you guess what we're going to be doing today? That's right, we might be painting. I have my paintbrush and my paint palette out here just to show you a few things that I want you to remember about when we paint. So when we paint, we want to always take care of our paintbrush, okay? We always want to make sure that our paintbrush has a beautiful hairdo. We always want the hair to be standing straight up, not crazy town all over the place, bad hair day. We want our paintbrushes to be having a good, happy hair day, okay? One way that we can continue to have our paintbrushes have a beautiful hair day is by the way we paint. So some of you might remember that when I show you how we paint, that I like to show you that we paint like our paintbrush is a ballerina, okay? So our paintbrush is the ballerina, and when she paints, she likes to dance across the paper. So when she's dancing across the paper, you see that she just has the tip of her paintbrush on the paper, and it's just kind of gliding across the paper like she is doing a beautiful dance, okay? What our ballerina paintbrush is not doing is scooting across the floor like this, okay? When you see a ballerina, do you see her scooting across the floor on her bottom? No, you don't. You see ballerinas doing a beautiful dance often on their tippy toes. And that's how we paint. We use our paintbrush like a ballerina who's dancing on her tippy toes. Okay, so that's how we use the paintbrush so that the paintbrush continues to have a beautiful hair day and stay like this. Because if we go like this, the hair gets all over the place and it gets crazy, and then when we paint, we can't paint a nice, beautiful line, okay? Just like that. So when you are painting, your paintbrush should be gliding back and forth, not scribbling, because that makes our paintbrushes have a very bad hair day, and that makes our paintbrushes very sad. So we want happy paintbrushes dancing like beautiful ballerinas across our paper.
Now let's get to painting.
Hey amazing artists, let's add some paint to our line drawing. Okay, so I'm gonna do mine in rainbow order. Rainbow order is the order that the colors appear in the rainbow. And when we shorten that, we like to call it Roy G. Biv. So that's red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. So really here we just have our blue and our violet, and the indigo is kind of a blue that's in between that. So sometimes I use blue instead of indigo, because you don't always have that dark indigo color to use, okay? So I'm gonna do mine in rainbow order. You could do yours in rainbow order. You could do your primary colors, red, yellow, blue. You could use just two of your favorites, like blue and purple, or green and yellow, or red and orange. But I'm gonna do the whole rainbow. So I'm gonna show you how to do that, okay? When you're using watercolor, you just have to add a little bit of water to the palette right there. And then that should make the paint activate or work, okay? Always make sure that you are wiping your brush down. You're swiping it in a cup of water. You can see I've been painting a lot today. My paint water is kind of dirty. And then you give it a little swipe around the edge. So you swirl, and then you swipe, and that kind of dries it off, and then you can dip it in your paint, okay? So I did red. I'm gonna make that red just a little wider, and you can see it's kind of going over that line, and that's okay. You can kind of just make some colored stripes in there. And if they blend together, that'll actually make it look really neat. So don't worry if they blend together a little bit, okay? So I'm gonna do orange next, because I'm doing the rainbow order. Orange needs a little bit more water. Now, if you feel like your color is kind of drying out, almost like when a marker dries out on your paper, that usually means you just need to add a little bit more water to the paint. I got my orange, now let's add the yellow. You can see how I'm going back and forth, just like our ballerina is dancing across the paper, not scrabbling with it, because that makes our paintbrushes have a bad hair day, and then our paintbrushes don't last very long when they have bad hair days. And they can't paint anymore, and that makes them sad. So we just go back and forth. I'm gonna do green after the yellow. We're now on the G in the Roy G. Biv. Do my green, then I'm gonna do my blue, and then violet. You might have a couple extra colors. Some of these palettes that some students have 16 colors, or you might even have more than that. So if you do, you can use some of those other colors. This, and I'm gonna put my purple at the end. Something I forgot to do is use my messy mat today. I use messy mats to keep my table clean, and I usually put that under my painting. That's something you can do at home too. But I forgot to do that today, so you can see I'm making my table all messy because I forgot to do it. And there we go. My lines have a beautiful rainbow in the background.
Great painting. Next week we'll add one more step to complete this artwork. See you next week.